So guys, has this ever happened to you? Salesperson brings you the car deal back, starts apologizing immediately. Oh my gosh, I don't know what you're gonna do with this guy, or these folks, or this lady, whatever the situation may be. They're giving you all the reasons why it's gonna be absolutely dreadful, the whole experience. It's been terrible for them the last 2 hours, days, weeks, months, or even years, however long it's taken them to sell this individual or these individuals this car. By the time they're done, you don't feel good about your prospects. So instead of all the unnecessary propaganda, what I like to do is as soon as the deal is brought back to me, and I get it, it's not a perfect world, but if it was, my salesperson would have a seat quietly while I rifle through their deal and make sure that I've got everything. So naturally, whenever I'm looking through their paperwork, they're going to want to speak up because they're trying to be helpful. They think that it's their job to tell me all these terrible things. And what I'm going to attempt to do is stop that in its tracks by simply just saying, hang on just a second. And I'm rifling through the paperwork. Now, the only reason I'm going to let I want the salesperson to stay on board with me for just that minute or so while I'm going through his paperwork is because it's not that I can't get anything that is missing out of the deal, but frankly, I don't want to be creating new habits by supporting things missing in a deal jacket. That's the only reason I'm going to keep them on board. So as soon as I find out that I've got everything I need in this deal jacket, then I'm going to say thank you for the opportunity. Are your guests at your desk? Hopefully they are, because we want to keep them sitting in the place that they have become comfortable. This is the environment that they've gotten used to while they've been working their car deal. So naturally, I want to greet them in this familiar, at least temporarily familiar to them, environment. So I'm going to get my customer profile, my initial customer interview sheet on board with me, bring the entire deal jacket out. I'm not going to load anything, pull credit, or anything like that ahead of time. I need to come out and get in front of the guest as quickly as possible because I'm needing to reset that clock. Because the whole time, all the time that transpires between the time that they say okay to the deal, they sign off, they initial whatever you have them do on whether you call it a buyer's order or a worksheet or whatever, once they've said yes, that clock is ticking. That whole time after that, they're wondering what's going on. So the longer it takes us in the business office to get out and get in front of them to find out the information on our customer interview sheet and start creating and building that rapport and instilling that trust in their minds that we are the expert on all things business office related, the more, frankly, their time is running out. So we've got a very small amount of time. We want to reset that clock as quickly as possible, get in front of them, conduct this interview. And very importantly, obviously, also is how they want this deal structured. Certainly, all of us have run into a situation when we didn't verify ahead of time that the names suddenly change. They want the names in a different order, or the address changes, or the structure of the deal has changed. I mean, we can take all that information from our salesperson and find out by the time we get to our menu presentation that it's all completely wrong. Maybe it's right. But frankly, I want to get that information straight from our guests. And I want to save my salesperson all the time conveying, acting as a delivery vehicle for all the propaganda that they've been fed with throughout their deal. So I'm going to get out, reset that clock, secure this information from our guests so that I can structure this deal exactly the way that they want it structured and get them back to my office in an efficient manner. So when they get back there, everything is flowing smoothly. Everything is the way they're expecting it to be at this point. So in the process of doing that, we are building critical rapport. The time that we spend building that rapport, we're getting to know them. Let's be genuinely concerned about the things that they're interested in, what's going on in their lives. The quality time that I spend in this very brief exchange with them, I'm instilling in them that I care about how they want their deal structured, that I'm a good guy that's got their considerations and concerns in mind. So to wrap things up, number one, we're going to reset that clock. We're going to remind them we are working on their deal, that we're not out back smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee, doing whatever. Number two, we're making sure the accuracy of the information, not only as presented to the lenders, but the deal structure and how we're taking care of the customer's needs. Lastly, the third point, building rapport. People are going to forget about what you say and even what you do long before they forget about how you make them feel. So we are creating a critical exchange in this very brief time that we're spending going over this customer interview, instilling in them that we care, and that's going to make them feel better about the whole process.